Yeah, my name is ProfRich. Some people say it's talking about the past related to the present. Some people say it's the tense to talk about experiences. Some people say it's a grammar tense that British people use, but Americans don't use it. That's right, it's the present perfect, specifically the present perfect simple. And today we're going to see how the present perfect simple is used in real, natural English. We're going to have a look at the real functions for using the present perfect simple. And we're going to look at the grammar, but also we're going to look at real phrases that people use when expressing things using the present perfect simple. So let's have a little look at the plan for today. You can see the plan here. These are the 5 functions of the present perfect simple. They are distinct functions. That means that each one of them is a slightly or a completely different meaning to the other. So this is 5 different ways that we can use the present perfect simple. Some of them seem like a contradiction, and these can confuse students, and I'm going to show you which of those are contradictions and try to explain how that happens, why that happens, and basically how to use it correctly. So, let's get right into it, folks. Have you ever ridden an elephant? Let's see, answers in the chat. Have you ever ridden an elephant? Do we have anyone in the chat who has ever ridden an elephant? I'm sure that everybody knows that we've got a present perfect there, but let's just chat about it. Elephant riders, anyone? Have you ever ridden an elephant? Would you like to? Pavia says, yes, I have. Would anyone like to? How was it, Pavia? Was it fun? So, have you ever? Probably one of the most common questions in present perfect. Plavi says, I haven't seen an elephant in real life, so riding it would be impossible. Would be impossible. Just put a would be in there, Plavi, and you've got something great. I haven't seen an elephant in real life, so riding it would be impossible. All right, let's ask another question. Let me show you a map. Look at the map. Which places have you been to? What did you do there? Which places have you been to? And what did you do there? Fariboris says, nice suit, by the way, Mr. Rich. Oh, thank you very much. I started dressing smartly for the streams a few months ago, and I quite like it. Pavia, talking about the elephant experience, says, it wasn't fun for real. I was kind of afraid. Nice. And notice, what tense is Pavia using there when talking about the specific event? What tense is Pavia using? That's the past simple. We often contrast the present perfect with the past simple, don't we? So, have a look at the map there. What places have you been to, and what did you do there? Shall I tell you which places I've been to? I've been to Canada, and I worked in Canada as a doorman. That was when I was 19 or 20. I've been to the United States, the northeast of the United States. I've been to Mexico. I traveled there for 6 months, backpacking. I've been to Portugal, Spain, obviously lived in Spain, I've been to France twice. I've been to Belgium, Luxembourg. I've been to Germany twice. I've been to Italy 3 times. I've been to Greece many times. Many different islands in Greece. I've been to Romania. I've been to Turkey. Turkey was a holiday a long time ago with my dad. I've never been to India. Or I haven't been to India yet, actually. I've been to Pakistan. I have been to Pakistan. That was an interesting experience, which I'm not going to talk about. I've been to the United Arab Emirates. I've been to Indonesia. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Vietnam. I've been to Laos and Cambodia. I've never been to Australia. I've been to Japan. And I've never been to Korea. And I haven't been to China yet. I've never been to Russia. Never been to the Ukraine. I have been to Sweden, but I haven't been to Norway. In Sweden, I went to Stockholm. And I think that's about it, actually. I've never been to Morocco. I very nearly went to Morocco, but not quite. I've never been to Cyprus, but I would love to go to Cyprus. But yes, I do think that's it. More or less. Maybe I forgot some. Well, Pallavi, I wasted my youth travelling around. British Columbia in Canada. Yes, that's where I went, actually. That's where I went. All right, great. Let's have another present perfect question, and then we'll look at the grammar of this. Oh, by the way, are you enjoying the stream? Do you like learning English in this way? Do you like real, natural phrases? Then subscribe and smash that like button. Your support really matters, especially if you found this video by searching YouTube. It's a great time to subscribe right now. And everyone else, smash that like button. All right, let's carry on. So, let me show you 4 sentences, and I want to know of these sentences. Oh, there you go, subscribe. I want to know of these 4 sentences, which would be most exciting to hear. So which of these 4 sentences, imaginary sentences, which do you think is most exciting? They are imaginary sentences, but I want to know which would be most exciting. All right? Okay, there you go. You can be honest. So, which of these would be most exciting to hear? I will read the sentences. Scientists have cured the flu. We have landed on Mars. AI has taken over. And ProfRich has reached 1 million subscribers. Scientists have cured the flu. We've landed on Mars. AI has taken over. And ProfRich has reached 1 million subscribers. Listen to the pronunciation there. Listen to the pronunciation of have and has. Scientists have cured the flu. We have landed on Mars. AI has taken over. ProfRich has reached 1 million subscribers. Yeah, of course, everyone's fanning out on number 4. Thank you very much, folks. That's very nice, but I think that probably Vitaly is being more honest here. Or maybe 2. I can't believe no one said 2. 2's pretty... Yeah, Vladimir, I agree with you. I think 2. We've landed on Mars. It's pretty amazing. To be honest with you, yeah, I think actually... It's ridiculous to say, isn't it? It's ridiculous how personal we are, but probably 4 would excite me more than 2. Even though 2 is way more important, right? I mean, 2 is just an incredible thing. All right, folks. Let's have a look at the grammar then. Are you ready for this? So, Present perfect simple we're talking about. And we are talking about use number 1 from the start of the class, which is finished experiences, achievements, and changes. And we had the examples. He's been to Japan. Scientists have cured cancer. Have you ever ridden an elephant? And ProfRich has reached 1 million subscribers. So that's the present perfect simple for finished experiences, achievements, or changes. Notice they are finished. That is sometimes contrasted with the present perfect continuous, where when we use these without any time duration, it can show that it's finished or not finished. In this case, with present perfect simple, it is finished in this case. All right? So there's your examples. I want you to choose the correct option for A and B. So, A, it is or isn't a finished action, and B, we do or don't say when it happened. So, can you type your answers in the chat for A and B? What is the correct answer? This is student-led grammar. You have to think about the rules to make the correct grammar rules yourself. This is a useful way of learning because it promotes engagement. That you're thinking about it and doing it yourself. So A and B, what are the right answers? You have about 10 seconds left. My coffee's cold already, which makes me very sad, I have to say. Haven't quite got the trick with how to make coffee. I should just go back to making lemon coffee, because I always enjoy lemon coffee. I just enjoy lemon in general. It's weird. I love lemon. Julia says 1B, which doesn't make any sense. Let me explain a little bit more what you need to do here, folks. Choose is or isn't for A, and then do or don't for B. So is or isn't for A, and then do or don't for B. And I'm going to tell you the answers now, because people watching the video afterwards will be bored by now. So let's move on. So it is a finished action, and we don't say when it happened. It is a finished action, and we don't say when it happened. All right? And that is finished experiences, achievements, and changes with present perfect simple. So now let's move on to the next use, because that first one, number 1, I think this is how most people understand present perfect. They really understand this number 1, especially present perfect simple. What about this next one? Past linked to present with just, already, and yet. Probably you also understand this one, but let's take a look at it. All right. Take a look at the two sentences, A and B, and what are the differences? A, have you had a beer? And B, have you had a beer yet? What's the difference? Can anyone explain the difference in meaning? Have you had a beer? Have you had a beer yet? Have you had a beer? Have you had a beer yet? What's the difference? Have you had a beer? Have you had a beer yet? Hi, Manuel. Have you had a beer? Hi, Manuel. Have you had a beer yet? Yes, Sanawat, that's it. It's about expectation. Can you explain a little further? Foamy coffee. perfect for live streams. Can anyone explain further? Expectations? That is the difference. But what do we mean with be? What's special about be? All right, let's see what Pavia's got here. Have you had a beer? Is a simple inquiry about whether or not someone has consumed a beer at any point in the past without any specific time frame implied. I don't actually completely agree with that, Pavia, because I think in this case, have you had a beer? I think contextually, we could understand that someone is saying it to you because they think you have had a beer. Like, let's say that you're walking a bit funny or you're saying something a bit nonsense, and maybe they want to check, have you been drinking? You know, like that kind of thing. Have you been drinking? Have you had a beer? Something like that. So I think, although it could mean at any time in your life, I think contextually, have you had a beer probably means like right now. Have you had a beer yet implies that the speaker is expecting the person to have a beer at some point, and they're asking if they've done so up to the present moment. It suggests anticipation. That is perfect. That's exactly it. So brilliant explanation there for be. And really be is what we're talking about. So that's great. All right, let's go a bit more into this. So I'm going to read some sentences. Actually, they are questions. I'm going to read some questions. And there are 5 questions. 5 questions. And these questions are about a teenage boy. Do you know any teenage boys? Let's imagine 15, 16-year-old, a boy. Just think about teenage boys. Why am I telling you it's about teenage boys? Well, because it gives you the context, and that's helpful for meaning, but also it tells you the pronoun. And the reason why that's important is because pronunciation of pronouns in English is very weak. So you need the context to hear the pronoun. If I don't tell you that these sentences are about a teenage boy, then it will be very difficult to hear the pronoun. But now that you know they're about a teenage boy, these questions, you probably will hear the pronoun. Of course, you can probably guess the pronoun. So, I'm going to read 5 questions, and I would like you to type the words you hear in the chat. We're very good at this, usually. Here we go. Number 1. Has he finished his exams yet? Has he finished his exams yet? Has he finished his exams yet? Remember, these are questions about a teenage boy. Julia, we're asking about a teenage boy. Thank you. Not quite, though. Did anyone get it perfect? That's very good, Vitelli. Has he finished his exams yet? That's it. Exactly. Well done. Well done. Great. Are you ready? Here comes number 2. Type the words you hear. By the way, if you are watching this video after the live stream, then take a piece of paper and write down the words you hear. Really do this because it really helps with your learning. So pause the video, get a piece of paper and write down the words you hear. Also, smash that like button and hit subscribe. All right, here we go. Number 2. No, he hasn't finished them yet. No, he hasn't finished them yet. No, he hasn't finished them yet. All right, well done, folks. Looking pretty good. Perfect answer from Anawat, even with the comma. Well done. No, he hasn't finished them yet. Great. And of course, we already have the context of the exams, so we can hear the pronoun quite well, even though the pronunciation is very weak. All right, let's move on to 3. Number 3, about the teenage boy. Has he bought a new phone yet? Has he bought a new phone yet? Has he bought a new phone yet? Son John, so fast. Well done. Well done, sir. Quick typers, though. And hello there to Hai Lee. Hai Lee. Not quite right. Maybe you missed the context. We're talking about a teenage boy, so we're going for has he. But thank you for the attempt and welcome to the stream. Make sure that you smash that like button and hit subscribe. Has he bought a new phone yet? Great. Now let's listen to the next one, which will be the answer to that. Number 4. Yeah, he's already bought one. Yeah, he's already bought one. Yeah, he's already bought one. Well done, Vitaly. Perfect. Yeah, he's already bought one. And we've got one more, little bonus. Little bonus number 5. I'll move up here. Number 5, type the words you hear. This is the last one. He's just played football, so he needs a shower. He's just played football, so he needs a shower. He's just played football, so he needs a shower. Well done, folks. It's very close, Julia. Pretty much has the meaning. Hint, you've missed the pronoun there. Remember, we're talking about a teenage boy. Kamal third person S for need. Also, Haile, third person S. He's just played football, so he needs to shower. A little bit different than what I said, but basically that's right. A lot of people say needs to shower. Needs to shower, basically the same. But well done, Pallavi. It was, the end is actually needs a shower. That's what I said. But the pronunciation difference between needs a shower and needs to shower is very minimal. So that doesn't really matter. So well done. Well done. Now, you will notice that we have our magic words there, don't we? We have our magic words, yet, already, and just. So what do they mean? Well, we definitely want to know about that. So let's have a look. Yet, already, and just are really magic words. And in British English, we basically almost always use them with present perfect. The Americans, they like to use it with past simple as well, but we're really keen on the present perfect for this. So let's see what we got here. You can see the examples there at the top bit. And I want you to choose just, already, and yet. And you can see down below, you can see the meaning of just, already, and yet. So we have something happened before expected. We have until now or before now. And then we have a short moment ago. So if you could just match those. It's not rocket science, so I'll give you just another 30 seconds. And while you're thinking about that, we can end the poll from before, where we have just 56% of people say, yes, I use the present perfect simple when speaking English. 43% say no. I find that incredible. The present perfect simple is really useful. I find it incredible. So that's why we're doing this lesson, really. Because it is a great tense to use. And I'm giving you 5 different functions for the present perfect simple today. This is number 2. All right, well done, everyone. We're going to go with Shimi, who says that number 1 is already. Number 2 is yet. Number 3 is just. And you are, of course, right. Thank you very much. So, now we're going to focus on already and yet. I'm going to show you a picture and ask you some questions. And you're going to give the answers in the chat. It's about our teenage boy. All right? So I will ask you the questions. I'll put a number as well. So I'll say like number 1, number 2. I want you to type the number, and type, he hasn't done it yet, or he's already done it. So they are your options. He hasn't done it yet. He's already done it. If you don't want to type, then you can just say them out loud if you're in a place where you can speak out loud. So you can just answer my questions out loud to your screen. He hasn't done it yet. He's already done it. They're the only options, right? Say it with me now. He hasn't done it yet. He's already done it. Okay? They are your only options. So I will ask a question And you will say, he hasn't done it yet. Or, he's already done it. That's it. All right? Ready? Here we go. Look at the picture. Question 1. Question number 1. Do the cinema voice. Question number 1. Has he made his bed yet? Has he made his bed yet? Has he made his bed yet? And the answer, he's already done it. Ooh, Anawat, you used already and yet. That's not good. But well done, because you are the closest to the answer. Renit's gone for yes, he's already made it, which is okay. But yes, Pavia, that's what I want. Number 1, he's already done it. He's already done it. So that's the activity. Has he made his bed yet? He's already done it. Pallavi, for some reason, said he hasn't done it yet, but he has. He has already made his bed. All right. Are you ready? Number 2. Number 2. Has he cleaned his room yet? Has he cleaned his room yet? Has he cleaned his room yet? Well done, Anawat. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't cleaned his room yet. He hasn't done it yet. Okay. Number 3. Has he had a shower yet? Has he had a shower yet? Has he had a shower yet? Shimi says we don't know that yet. Yes, we do. That's tricky. Look at the shower. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Okay, we need photo analysis of the shower. Look. Do you think he just left the water on? There's water on the floor of the shower. And look, there's a pool of water on the floor. There's a pool of water. Ooh, Haile, you used yet and already, and then corrected yourself. Well done. He's already done it. Number 3, he's already done it. He's already had a shower. He's already had a shower. He's already done it. He's already done it. Say it with me. He's already done it. He's already had a shower. He's already done it. Well done. Okay. Great. Number 4. Has he had a coffee yet? 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 Number 4. Well, that's teenage boys for you, Pavia, isn't it? They don't make sense. Has he had a coffee yet? Manuel's gone for he's already had it, which is okay. We could say that. Yeah, we've got some more. He's already had it. But yeah, he's already done it. It's okay. Has he had a coffee yet? Yeah, he's already done it. We can use do just in general for any action. So it's perfectly okay. He's already done it. He's already done it. He's already had a coffee. He's already had a coffee. He's already done it. He's already done it. He's already done it. It's finished on his list for today. He's already done it. Now, Pallavi is making the argument that there's coffee there, but yes, but he has had a coffee. I mean, at least he has attempted to have a coffee, Pallavi, and there is a coffee cup on the floor under the bed as well. Okay, and number 5. Has he made his breakfast yet? 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 Number 5. Has he made his breakfast yet? Has he made his breakfast yet? Yes, he's already done it. He's already done it. He's already done it. Okay, he's already done it. Number 6. Has he turned his computer off yet? Has he turned his computer off yet? Has he turned his computer off yet? Number 6. Has he turned his computer off yet? Has he turned his computer off yet? He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't turned it off yet. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. Well done, folks. Okay, last question. Are you ready? This one's a special one. You can get bonus points. Number 7. Number 7. Number 7. Has he taken the dog for a walk yet? Has he taken the dog for a walk yet? Has he taken the dog for a walk yet? Has he taken the dog for a walk yet? Bonus round. He's already done it. He's already done it. Oh, Manuel cashed it in. Yes, he's just done it. He's just done it. Well done, Manuel. He got that bonus round. He's just done it. Has he taken the dog for a walk yet? Yeah, just. That's what people say sometimes. They say, yeah, just. He's just done it. He's just done it. Well done, folks. That takes us to number 2 of our present perfect simple meanings. Making good progress now. So we've talked about, we have talked about number 1, finished experiences, achievements, and changes when we do not say when it happened. We've talked about the past linked to the present with just, already, and yet, and we practiced that a little bit. Also, I would note that the Americans often use these with past simple, but in UK English, we prefer to use present perfect for just, already, and yet. And I would recommend practicing in the way that we did just then. So we've just practiced present perfect using just, already, and yet. So Kamal mentioned since. But that's different, Kamal. We're actually coming on to since now. Since is the next one. So let's have a look at that. The next one is duration of, look at this, unfinished. Duration of unfinished states or actions. Duration of unfinished states or actions. So that's what we're going to talk about next. This is with present perfect simple. Okay, so I have a little task for you. I want you to think of 5 simple things, 5 simple things that are true about you. So think of 5 simple things that are true about you now. 5 simple things which are true about you. Let me show you 5 for me. I live in England. I'm an English teacher. I speak Spanish. I have 2 cats and I like coffee. All right, so there are 5 things which are true about me. I live in England. I'm an English teacher. I speak Spanish. I have 2 cats and I like coffee. So I want you guys to think about 5 things which are true for you. If you are a quick typer, then you can type those things in the chat if you want. You don't have to, but you can if you want. So yes, Kamal has the idea. I live in Morocco. Very good, Kamal. That is absolutely fantastic. So it is perfectly okay if you don't want to type them in the chat. But if you do, then go ahead. I want you to just think of at least think of 5 things that are true for you. We can just use present simple. It's fine. I live in England. I'm an English teacher. I speak Spanish. I have 2 cats. And I like coffee. Got Julia saying, I live in Myanmar. Hope everything is okay for you out there right now, Julia. Well, Manuel is just saying true about my sentences, but I want you to write sentences about you, Manuel. Oh, good stuff, Anawat. I like spicy food. I have homework. Yes, I have homework. Very good. All right. So now, everyone, I hope you've thought of 5 sentences. If you haven't, then just stop. It's okay if you just have 1 or 2 or 3. It's perfectly okay. It is perfectly okay. Okay, so you have at least some sentences which are true for you. So now for every sentence, I will say, how long have you? How long have you for each sentence? Okay? So let's imagine I'm saying that in present perfect. Like, Manuel, I say, how long have you lived in Barcelona? Okay? Hi Lee, how long have you loved riding a bicycle? Anawat, how long have you liked spicy food? How long have you had homework? Julia, how long have you lived in Myanmar? Manuel, how long have you spoken Spanish? Or spoken? How long have you spoken Spanish? Julia, how long have you had 2 rabbits? Okay, so let's have a look at mine. I live in England. How long have you lived in England? I've lived in England since 2019. Because before that, I was in Vietnam. How long have you been an English teacher? I've been an English teacher for 16 years. I speak Spanish. How long have you spoken Spanish? I've spoken Spanish since 2008. How long have you had 2 cats? I've had 2 cats since 18 months ago. We can actually use since with a go like that to get this kind of fancy thing. And I like coffee. Rich, how long have you liked coffee? I've liked coffee for about 35 years. I've liked coffee for about 35 years. So I want you guys to do that. Just imagine a how long have you for every question. For example, Pallavi, how long have you been a student? How long have you had a passion to do creative things? How long have you loved ice cream? How long have you... Ooh, that's a difficult one because you use past simple. How long have you learned English? How long have you loved cats and dogs? We got some good answers here. Thank you. Julia says, I've lived in Myanmar since I was born. And Dr. Kamal says, I've lived in Morocco since my birth. Very good. These are good answers. Perfect answers and good demonstrations of the present perfect. Now, you know what's interesting about this use of the present perfect? I've loved riding a bicycle for 3 years. Yeah. Remember with number 1, the first use of the present perfect, we said it was finished in the past, right? Finished in the past. But are these finished? I've lived in England. Is that finished? I've been an English teacher. Is that finished? Am I no longer an English teacher? I've had 2 cats. Are my cats still here? Yes, they are. So notice that this is not finished. Now, it's present perfect simple, but it's not finished. Because when we put the duration with present perfect, we're talking about something unfinished. It's something that's true now. And actually, this is the main way in English to talk about the duration of a present truth. So that is the duration of unfinished states or actions, things that are true now, and we're talking about the duration of them. The present perfect simple, and sometimes continuous, is the most common way, and actually it's pretty much the only way of talking about that. So you can see the examples there. I've spoken Spanish for 14 years. I've lived in England since 2019. And I would like you to choose from the options in A, B, and C like we did before. So if you notice, you have to choose between these options for each of the rules below. So for A, you choose finished or continuing. For B, we choose for or during and since or until. And then for C, you choose recent or not recent, and permanent or temporary. So choose from those options, choose which options are correct. I'm going to just disappear for a second so that you can see the whole screen. Donk. And I'll give you about 60 seconds to have a good think about that. This is the third use of the present perfect simple. We're getting an absolute masterclass on the present perfect simple today. I hope that this is helpful to you guys. If it is, then do smash that like button and hit subscribe. Thank you. And if, like Manuel Gordillo, you realize that being an English teacher does not pay the bills, then you may, of course, buy me a coffee. And you can do that at the link in the chat. Thank you, Rich. I would like to ask Manuel not to do that because he does it quite enough as it is, and I'm very appreciative for it. Manuel also pays for private classes. But if anyone else out there would like to buy me a coffee, please do feel free. What you have to do, Plavi, is choose from the options. So finished or continuing, for example. So for A, it says, when we use present perfect simple with a duration, it means the action state is, and then you choose finished or continuing. So you are constructing the grammar rules yourself. And if you're watching the video at home, I want you to pause the video and do that now, because I am now going to give you the answers. So for A, if we use it with a duration, it means it's continuing. It is not finished. B, we often use for, not during. That's a mistake. And since, not until. So we use for or since to express the duration. With for, we actually use a duration. So like for 5 hours, for 10 years. And with since, we use a point in the past. Since my birth, since 2008, since last summer. And then C, we can use present perfect continuous, especially when it is recent or temporary. So we say stuff like, I've been living in England since 2019. Kind of depends if I think, is that recent and temporary? It was. Now it feels a bit more permanent. It's been 5 years. But when I came back, it was temporary. It was temporary. I've been drinking this coffee for 60 minutes. That's why it's cold. Recent and temporary. And I've drunk coffee for 35 years. There you go. Great. All right, folks. So that was our number 3. We've done our number 3. We're getting through these quite fast now, aren't we? So we've done finished experiences, achievements, and changes. Ta-da. We've done past, linked to the present with just, already, and yet. Has he done it yet? He's already done it. He hasn't done it yet. He's just done it. We have done the duration of unfinished states or actions. And notice it's duration. The focus is really about the duration of a present action or state. That's what number 3 is about. Let's move on then to number 4, which is repeated actions or unfinished counts. Unfinished counts. Counts like 1, 2, 3. So for this one, I want you to guess the answers. It's a little quiz, ProfRich quiz. Guess the answers about me. I'm going to ask 3 questions. I want you to guess the answers. Are you ready? Number 1. How many countries have I lived in? How many countries have I lived in? That's number 1. How many countries have I lived in? Number 2. How many live streams have I done? How many live streams have I done? Not only on ProfRich, but on Oxford Online English as well. How many live streams have I done? I've just noticed my camera's a little bit high, isn't it? Should be a bit lower. How many live streams? Now you can see how my shirt's crinkled up. How many live streams have I done? And finally, number 3. How many hours have I taught in class in person? How many hours have I taught in class in person? All right. What do you guys think? Got some interesting answers. So Shimi thinks 2. Really? You think so? I'm an English teacher, you know, Shimi. We live in many countries. We travel around a lot because people want to learn English. Vladimir thinks 5. And Plavi's going to say 500. 500 what? Live streams? 500 live streams? And now Plavi thinks 10. That's wrong on the other way, but nice guess. 1,000 live streams? Really? You think so? How many do you think I'm doing? How would I do 1,000 live streams? 1,000? Think about it. There's 50 weeks in a year. How many years have I done live streams for? And how many do I do a week? Amazing. Lived in 250 countries. Oh, come on, folks. Come on. All right, here's the answers for you. So, actually, they're mixed up, but I think if I show you these, you'll probably get them. Okay. You can match them. You can match them, but I think you can probably match them quite easily, can't you? Of course, I've lived in 300 countries. No, I haven't lived in 300 countries. I have lived in 6 countries. I've lived in 6 countries. That's B. How many live streams have I done? I've done about 300. Done about 300. And how many hours have I taught in class? A lot. A lot. So full-time English teacher teaches about 1,000 hours per year. I've been teaching for 16 years. So I've probably taught about 15,000 hours in class. Something like that. That's wild, isn't it? 15,000 hours? Okay, I wasn't always teaching in that time, you know. Sometimes I fall asleep. No, not really. But I certainly don't teach for all of those hours. That would be absolutely wild if you stood there just teaching for all that time. It's amazing, though. I can't believe it. 15,000 hours? 15,000 hours. You would think I'd be some sort of like expert communicator at this point, right? I don't really feel like it, but yeah, 15,000 hours of teaching, something like that. All right, great. Well done, folks. So let's have a look at the grammar for this one. So this is present perfect simple for repeated actions or unfinished counts. What's an unfinished count? It's like, I've done about 300 live streams. That's an unfinished count. What is a repeated action? That's, I've taught many hours in class. A repeated action. All right? So that's what we're talking about. And you can see here, repeated actions or unfinished counts. I've taught many hours in class. I put over 12,000 there, been a bit conservative. And I've done about 300 live streams. Again, I would like you to choose the correct options for A and B. So choose finished or unfinished, could or could not. And then for B, choose past simple or past perfect. You have about 30 seconds to do that. About 30 seconds. What about Oxford Online English, says Pavia. I am including Oxford Online English, Pavia. I am including that. And Pallavi says, have you got richer now than before? No comment. No comment. Manuel says the teacher's been flattering himself for the whole class. It's called personalisation, Manuel. Students are always interested in facts about their teacher. It's just one of those things. 10 seconds to get in your answers. If you are watching the video at home, then you can pause the video now because I'm going to give you the answers. Are you ready? So for A, when we use present perfect simple with a count 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we use it with a count, a how many answer or how much. When we use it with a count or amount, it means that the count is unfinished. So with present perfect, it means the count is unfinished and could increase. So that's important, that when I say I've done about 300 live streams, that means I could do more in the future. That's a possibility. Actually, it's a high probability. As we know, there's a stream on Saturday. Check it out. Saturday, 1 p.m. UK. I'll be here. Will you be here? So, present perfect simple with a count means it could increase and it's unfinished. If the count is definitely finished, we use past simple instead. So if the count is definitely finished, we use past simple. Okay? For example, I did 300 live streams. Let's imagine that I live streamed for Oxford Online English and then stopped. I could say, well, I did about 300 live streams for Oxford Online English. Okay? Maybe we say about Carrie. Did Carrie continue live streaming? I tried to get in contact with her and she replied initially, but then I didn't hear after that. But I think it would be correct for Carrie to say, Carrie did 300 live streams. Or something like that. I can't believe it's just 300. It's about 300. I'm pretty sure it's about 300. I used to do 1 a week for Oxford Online English, and then I started doing 2 a week for ProfRich, but that was just last year, Pavia. So I've done, I think, less than 100 live streams for Professor Rich. All right. We're getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've done our repeated actions or unfinished counts, and we just have one more now. We just have one more. This is the final function of the present perfect simple, and it is an easy one. It's an easy one, really. It's for unstarted intentions or non-experience. And we're going to go back to something which I showed you earlier in the stream, a question where I said, what's the difference? And I'm going to ask a similar question. Are you ready? All right, let's have a look. What's the difference? I have never been to Japan. I haven't been to Japan yet. What's the difference, folks? Answers in the chat. I've never been to Japan. I haven't been to Japan yet. I've never been to Japan. I haven't been to Japan yet. What's the difference? 10 seconds. Who's going to have the best explanation? Well, that's pretty much it, Alex. So number 2 is it's a plan. And Manuel says, yes, A, I don't know if I'll go. But yes, B is I have a plan to go. So the yet, haven't done it yet, tells us that there is, in fact, a plan in the future to do it. So in the chat, name 3 things you want to do but haven't done yet. Name 3 things you want to do but haven't done yet. Answers in the chat. 3 things that you want to do but haven't done yet. So we're looking for I haven't yet. And this is, of course, your bucket list. If you know what a bucket list is, it's the things you want to do before you kick the bucket. The things you want to do but you haven't done yet. There's a few ideas there for some reason. That's a pretty good explanation before from Pavia. I have not achieved a healthy weight yet. I have not achieved a healthy weight yet. Good luck, Alex. I am now a healthy weight. I am a healthy weight. You may have noticed in the last 6 months, I've lost a considerable amount of weight. It was difficult, but it was probably helped by the fact of not drinking alcohol. That probably helped significantly. But also, you still need to diet as well. So yeah, it was tough. But I am now in the sort of healthy range. According to BMI, I'm still overweight. But if you look at me, then you'll realize that I'm not overweight. It's just that BMI doesn't really suit everyone, does it? Anawat says, I haven't met any aliens yet, so he's planning to meet some aliens. Good luck with that, Anawat. I would love to meet some aliens, as long as they're friendly. I haven't been to Antarctica yet. Really? You want to go to Antarctica, Ashley? Are you sure? I haven't been to Alaska yet. Why does everyone want to go to these freezing cold places, Antarctica and Alaska? What's the appeal? Kamal says, I haven't written a mail to ... yet. What? Who's that? King Charles? We got another health one from Julia. I haven't reached my targeted toned body yet. It's always good to have targets. Haven't finished listening to my long list of podcasts yet. Very good. I've not been to a Sting performance yet. Is he still playing? Dung, 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 dung. Sending out an SOS. Sending out an SOS. I hope that someone gets my... Yeah. Everybody loves Sting, more or less. Or do you mean Sting the wrestler? Oh, Manuel hasn't got his Ferrari yet. Well, good luck, Manuel. I'm sure you'll get there eventually. So that's our I haven't done it yet. That is for an unfulfilled intention. Now, I want you to name 3 things you have never done and you don't really want to do. So 3 things you have never done and you don't really want to do. For example, I've never kissed a dog on the mouth. I have kissed my cats on the mouth several times, but I've never kissed a dog on the mouth. I have been licked by a dog on my face. I didn't like it very much, but I've never kissed a dog on the mouth and I don't want to. So, name 3 things you've never done and you don't really want to. There are some options here. English university students like to play a game in university. It's a drinking game. It's called Never Have I Ever. Never Have I Ever. And basically you say, never have I ever, and then something. And if someone else has done it, then they have to drink and tell the story. And because it's university, sometimes it's a bit spicy. You know? Like, never have I ever kissed 3 girls at the same time. And then anyone who has to dunk, drink, and tell the story. I don't recommend playing such a game. Bad game, bad game. Ashley Chen says, I've never eaten worms in my life. That's a good one. That is a good one, yep. I can agree. I've never eaten worms in my life. Never have I ever eaten worms, and I don't want to. Nice one, Manuel, from the last one. I've never kissed on the mouth Sharon Stone yet. Okay, good luck with that. I've never seen a snake wearing glasses, and I don't particularly want to. Well, actually, that could be pretty cool. Never have I ever accidentally sent a text to the wrong person and then had to play it off like it was intentional. Good one. That is a good one, Pavia. I can see you would enjoy the university game. I don't recommend it, though. People get very drunk and say ridiculous things. I've never tried heavy drugs. I've never visited Turkmenistan. I've never tried sex with a man. Oh, okay. See how it gets spicy, doesn't it? It does get spicy. Yeah. Anyone else got any to add? We are coming to the end. We're coming to the end. If you're about to hit enter, hit it now, because I'm about to move on. I haven't run an ultramarathon yet. I think it's very difficult to do so. Well, I know what's saying yet, implying that maybe he will. I don't know what I never want to do. You can guess some things, Pallavi. Like, never have I cleaned a toilet with my mouth. I don't think I ever want to do that. I think I know that I don't want to do that. Never have I ever climbed Everest, and I don't want to. Never have I ever tried to quietly open a bag of chips during a movie and ended up sounding like a construction site. Bingo! Look at that. Creativity, Pavi. I'm impressed. What's your plan, by the way? Are you writing a novel or a poem, or what are you going to do with your life? I'm starting to wonder. You're probably too young to answer that question. It takes a while to figure it out. I've never caught my shadow. That's a good one. Well done. All right, folks, we're coming to the end. So what have we done today? Well, we've done all this. Can you remember them all? Because that's what we've done. We have looked at all 5 of those uses of the present perfect simple. They are distinct, different uses. 1 and 3 can be quite interesting because they can cause some issues. Also, I think it is worth mentioning that for 4, you do not use present perfect continuous. It doesn't make sense, right? So, like, I've been doing 300 live streams. It's wrong. So, number 4, you only have the present perfect simple as an option for unfinished counts. Anyway, actually, for repeated actions, it's okay. I've been doing many live streams. That's all right. But unfinished counts, you must use simple, present perfect simple. That's worth mentioning. What's this question? Alexander says, why have I meant the exact weight? I couldn't use the weight. I don't know what you mean, Alexander. Your original statement seemed fine. You said like target weight or something, right? It sounded perfectly okay to me. I don't know what the issue is. It seemed okay. Never have I ever watched a stream as entertaining as this one. Never have I ever, or I've never watched a live stream as entertaining as this one. Well, thank you. That sounds absolutely fantastic. And what you mean is, I've never disappointed you with my homework. Not I never want to. So you should say, I've never felt that I've disappointed you with my homework. You haven't, Pallavi. I've always been impressed by your homework. Even your very first one, I remember you drew a lovely picture. I think I've had 2 pictures from you, right? One was a rabbit and one was a pirate, like a cute pirate. It was quite fun. Great. There's another summary, folks. So that will be in the notes from today. And you can see the summary with examples. You'll notice there are 6 there, which is a little bit different than what we actually did. It's because I combined number 2, I believe. Yeah, I combined number 2 and number 1. Yes, I did. Yeah. So it was merged into one for the class. That was my own decision, by the way. I did that. It's a ProfRich thing. I just decided it made sense. So, whatever. All right, folks, we're on to question time. And it has been a super long stream today, so there's not going to be much question time. So if you want to ask questions, then you better type them in the chat right now, because I'm ready to go and have something to eat. I'm a little bit hungry. Also, you can, of course, download the notes from today. The link to do that is in the chat, and also it will be in the description down below the video, and it is there right now for you to check that. You can download the notes from today from that link, and from the link on the screen. It's all over the place. Right, you've got about 30 seconds to ask questions. I'm going to bash through them, and then that's it. So straight away, Hector says, how can I use these words? Adhesive, punishment, ability, forgery, criticism, relief, and protest as countable or uncountable nouns. I think they're uncountable in general. I think they are uncountable in general. So as countable or uncountable nouns, there's quite a lot going on there, isn't there? Can I pin that? How do I do it? Control, Alt, and click to pin. I'm going to see if this works. No, it just deletes it. Oh, I see. It just pins it at the top. Right, let's have a look. Let me type those. Adhesive, punishment, ability, forgery, criticism, relief, protest. Where do you get these from? Right. Adhesive. It's an adhesive. They're adhesives. That's countable. Okay. Punishment. His punishment. He's been given 2 punishments. He's been given a punishment. What's your punishment? We have 2 punishments for him. That's also countable. Can it be uncountable? We need to talk about some punishment. We need to talk about punishment. I don't like punishment. His punishment will be... The punishment is too harsh. This punishment is too harsh. These 2 punishments... struggling a little bit with this. These 2 punishments. Types of punishments. Rules and punishments. Punishment. Some punishment. Let's discuss punishment. Let's discuss what is the correct punishment. Yeah, it can be both. So we could say something like... have you ever received a punishment for something you didn't do? And that proves that it is countable. But we can also say punishment is the wrong approach to law and order. And that proves that it's uncountable. So it can be both. Moving on. Ability. Ability is learnt. Yeah, that can be both. For sure, that can be both. Ability is learnt. I have 3... No. I want to learn a new ability. Yeah, you can absolutely use them, countable and uncountable. There is a little bit of a difference as well, that when we say an ability or a new ability, we're talking about a skill. Whereas when we say ability, we're talking about having a high level of skill. So we're talking about the concept of having a high level of skill, ability. Like he has ability without an ability. He has ability means he has a high level of skill. So there is a difference there. Forgery. Yes, that can be both. This is an easy one. Forgery uncountable means the crime, right? Whereas countable means a thing which is not real / faked. So it's a forgery versus the crime of forgery. Then criticism. Criticism. Yeah, so again, criticism. Criticism, uncountable, is the action in general. And a criticism means one negative feedback point for something. Like, I have a criticism to mention to you about your art, means one point of feedback, whereas criticism just means the general area. Relief. Reliefs? I don't know what that would be countable. Reliefs. There's several reliefs. That's a relief. Yeah, that's a relief. Yeah, we use that's a relief to say, you know, menos mal in Spanish. Few. Right. Whereas relief in general means the concept of relieving something, often pain. But does it actually make sense, a countable noun, other than that's a relief? It's a relief. Both of those things were reliefs. I just can't think of using that in a plural way. So although it seems to exist as a countable noun, I can't imagine using it in a countable way other than that's a relief. Protest. Yeah, protest in general. It's the general action. So, you know, protest is important for a democratic society versus a protest. Countable is one instance of people demonstrating in the street. Like, this is a protest about artificial intelligence taking over the world. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. Let's try to limit the vocabulary questions so there's not like millions and millions and millions of things for me to explain, if you can. I appreciate all the questions, but, you know, sometimes I feel like a dictionary would be your best option there. Sanjan says, in your opinion, why do you think human tends to give into their violent impulses? Is it innate or pathological? Oh, I'm not sure that it's true that humans tend to give in to their violent impulses. Like when you say tend to, it's like you're saying they usually do it. But I don't think that's necessarily the case, right? Like it's not necessarily the case that humans tend to give into violent impulses. Sometimes humans give into violent impulses, but I don't think tend to is necessarily the case. It's kind of outside my area of expertise, really. Is it innate? I think violent impulses could well be innate because it does seem to be a natural thing, a natural part of us. Now, of course, from a religious standpoint, as a Christian, then the Christian answer would be it's the fall of Adam and Eve, that they ate from the tree of knowledge, tree of knowledge of good and evil. And since then, the human heart has been filled with sin. And so we have all kinds of sinful impulses. That's the Christian answer. As for speaking outside of a religious context, it's a complicated question. It is a sad thing, though, isn't it? It's a sad thing that our natural state is that we do have kind of quite a lot of negativity in our sort of natural day-to-day state. A lot of frustration and aggression and so on. We need a social psychologist to help with this one. I don't know about omniscient, Anawat. Please don't say that. I'm not an omniscient. Do you ever write a book about your travelling? Absolutely not, Pallavi. Maybe I'll write a book one day. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe when I'm like 65, I'll write a book. In your humble opinion, which is more difficult to learn? A stress time language, like Spanish or Vietnamese, like English or German, or a syllable time language like Spanish or Vietnamese? So you're obviously, when you say more difficult to learn, Anawat, you mean specifically the pronunciation, of course. I don't think stress timed or syllable timed makes a lot of difference, actually. But I think that the sound spelling relationships of a language help quite a bit. So the fact that in Spanish, if you see this letter, then it is always this sound. A is always A, right? A, A. Maybe it changes with accent, in Chile, maybe they say a bit more like A. And maybe in Spain, they say a bit more like hablo, right? And o is always o. That helps. That helps. It really helps. It does help. So the definitely, if a language is phonemic or has strong sound spelling relationships, then it helps. Stress timed and syllable timed, I don't know. Some people actually argue that there's no such thing as a syllable time language. So, for example, right? Although you can have languages which are more syllable timed, then are they really syllable timed though? Or is it stress timed, right? Like people might teach you this. They'll say, Japanese, it's like a machine gun. Do, 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 right? Do, 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 do. Nanda kore wa. Nanda kore wa. Nanda kore wa. Right? But actually, if you listen to them, they're like, Nanda kore wa. Wait a minute. Was that syllable timed? Nanda kore wa. Is that really syllable timed? That sounds a bit stress timed to me. Like it sounds like you're kind of hitting the nan, right? Nanda kore wa. Right? Or even Nanda kore wa. I'm not so sure. Okay, I think that stress timed and syllable timed is an approximation. And I think, yes, okay, English is really over on the stress timed side of things, sure. But I do think you get it in other languages. To just take Spanish. La verdad es que, right? Oh, okay. Or, la verdad que, mi hija se ha venido aquí, bla, 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 bla. You want to hear Spanish as a syllable time language? Listen to Manuel Gordillo speak in Spanish. Yeah. I think it is syllable timed. Sorry, I think it is stress timed also. That's not syllable timed, is it? It's stress timed. It's just more syllable timed. Teacher, what irritates you the most? What kind of a question is that, Valavi? I'm quite an irritable person, I have to admit. I'm quite an irritable person. And really, I spend a lot of my time throughout the day making an effort to hide that from other people. But I'm quite an irritable person. Lots of things irritate me, especially if I'm tired or hungry or doing something I don't want to do. Like, I get irritated so much, you know? It's ridiculous. I don't like it. I don't like the fact I get irritated. I'm very impatient as well. I really struggle with impatience. And I'd like to work on those things, but it's tough, you know? I mean, I've been aware of this. I've been aware of these issues for years and years and years, and I've tried to work on them. But, you know, lots of things, loads of things irritate me. Loads of things irritate me. Yeah. Let's give an example. People playing music loud on their mobile phones. The huge cost of living crisis in the UK. Pretty much anything about politics, anything that pretty much anyone has to say about politics irritates me. Even though I'm super interested in politics, just so many things that anyone says about it irritates me. Anything in a newspaper, I just need to see a newspaper. Like, you want to see me irritated? Let's do this. Let's do this. You ready for this? I'm going to get irritated for you right now. Going to get irritated for you right now. I need to find a national front page. Okay, that'll do. Okay. Nope, that could get me in trouble, so I'm not going to show that. Let's find something. Okay, fine. This one will do. So here you go. Here's a newspaper in the UK. I'm not going to tell you what irritates me about this, but I am highly irritated looking at this. Like, I am highly irritated looking at this. This irritates me a lot. I'm getting very annoyed. Right, let's have a look at another one. Okay, sure. We'll have a look at this. You might know this one's a bit of a famous one. Daily Mail. Right. Am I going to get irritated by this? Let me just read it a little bit. Loo bugs? How could you not be irritated by that? And I quite like the royal family, but loo bugs? Okay, and then this. Yeah, I'm irritated. You know, I just see this guy's name, Rishi Sunak, and I feel irritated immediately. Yeah, so there you go. I'm quite an irritable person. And if there's one thing that irritates me, it's the newspapers. And it's not necessarily about the news. You know what really irritates me? Journalists. And I was a journalist. I studied to be a journalist and I worked as a journalist for a little bit. But journalism irritates me a lot. I can't stand journalism. apart from really good journalists, of which there are about 3 in the world. All right, let's move on. Flavia says, Rich, in what context would we opt for the present perfect simple over the present perfect continuous to convey a sense of completion or ongoing relevance of an action? Well, for completion, it's where it's the first use I spoke about, which is when you're using it for experience, achievements, without mentioning the time. So you don't mention the duration, right? And this is the difference between, for example, I've lived in Spain, okay? And this, of course, is true for me. It's a finished action that happened at some point in the past. Versus, I've been living in Spain, which actually means it's still going on. So this is actually not true for me. I'd have to say I've been living in the UK, because now it's true. So it's that one where you don't have the time. That's the main one with the sort of difference of whether it's a completed action in the past or it's something that's still relevant. Something to watch out for with that is with stative verbs. Like, if I say, I've seen that film. Yeah. So I've seen that film. That's the same. It's something finished in the past, right? But it's a stative verb. So there is no I've been seeing that film. This doesn't really work very well. Can we use something else? I've had a car at one point in my life, but I don't now. Yeah, I've had a car. This is a funny one because I've had a car. It's a stative verb, and I've had a car. It means I had it at some point in the past, but not now. But there's actually no way using the present perfect simple on its own to say that I've got a car now, because you can't use present perfect continuous, because I've been having a car doesn't work. So how do I say that? How do I say it for something temporal and ongoing? I've got a car at the moment. I've got a car at the moment. Is that the only way of saying it? Got a car at the moment. It's interesting, this. Because it's the stative verb that's causing a problem. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the important thing is that one, isn't it? Now, the other situation when you'll have a choice is when talking about duration. But with duration, it's, as I said, it just makes it more recent and more temporal. So if I say like, I've lived in England for 4 years versus I've been living in England for 4 years. It's just, these are basically the same, right? So they're basically the same, but this one is more temporal, or temporary, let's say, and maybe more recent. But that's just a sense. There's a sense that it's more temporary and more recent. That's it. So Alexander says, I can't help adding been to every past perfect sentence, or even instead of past simple. I'll try to overcome that. It sounds like you've overcompensated with passives and continuous forms, Alexander. So really go through the lesson today and take some of the sentences that you've made about yourself in present perfect. If you meant present perfect, in present perfect, and then incorporate those into your active vocabulary. That's what you should do. So, for example, if you had something like, I've worked here for 5 years, you know, just take that as a phrase, write it down, start saying it in conversations, you know. I've learned English since I was 15 years old, stuff like that. Just actively learn phrases which contradict your problem and then start using them. You only need a few, just 2 or 3. Learn the phrases that contradict your problem and really get them into your language and start using them. Have you ever seen ProfRich's live streams? There you go. There's one for you. Have you spoken to, no, have you seen the news yet? There's a good one. Very general. If you're into talking about the news, you could say that to pretty much anyone in English at any point. And that's a nice, useful phrase, and it contradicts or it goes against the problem that you're having. What about this? Fill in the gaps with clear silicone adhesive. What? With clear silicone adhesive. Yeah, it's true, Hector. Yeah, and we do say that as well. With clear adhesive, with adhesive. Yeah. I think in this case, adhesive is being used a bit like coffee, right? Like where we say coffee is the material and a coffee is a cup of it, right? So I like coffee. I like the material of coffee. I like the substance, the substance, the physical thing. Or I like to have a coffee every day. I like to have a cup of coffee every day. And I think adhesive is being used like that. Monarchy is irritating by itself. Trying to read that itself is irritating. Instead of choosing the peaceful solution, human beings sometimes choose to go to war. Yeah. No comment. It seems that question irritated you as well. No, it didn't, Pallavi. I found it an interesting question. I mean, it's always worthwhile considering ourselves, isn't it? Having a mirror held up to us to think about our faults and so on. You know, I don't want to be someone who gets irritated. You know, I don't want to be an irritable person. There's some people, it's just like everything is water off a duck's back. They always seem so chilled out. You know, and I think that's a good way to be. Monarchy and present perfect don't match. It's all right. It's all right. People are entitled to their opinion about the monarchy. I don't mind. Whatever. But I think Manuel actually agrees about that, about the monarchy. I don't think you're that keen on the monarchy, Manuel. But anyway. Harry, you're most welcome. A melting smiley. Defense is the only solution sometimes. It's a complicated issue, isn't it? Like we said. All right, everybody. So we do have some homework. So check it out. Here's the homework. If you'd like to do the homework, just follow the instructions there. And then on our Discord, send it to me on our Discord. And on Saturday, I'll check through that. So thank you very much for joining me today. We've talked about the present perfect simple. I hope that that's been very useful to you. I do hope that everyone will have a lovely rest of their week and have a lovely weekend as well. Do join us on Saturday at 1 p.m. when we'll be talking about, I don't know, because I haven't worked it out yet. And Pavia gives her thanks, which is absolutely brilliant. Always typed in a very nice way with Pavia as well, with all kinds of lovely language. Thank you so much, Pavia. It's a lovely comment. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. This is ProfRich English. And I'll see you guys next time. See you later. Bye-bye now.